Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for subscribing. That helps me out a lot. And let's talk about finesse jigs, because I feel like the way I fish this bait may be different than other fishermen. Now, everybody knows cold water, winter time, a jig is a great bait. But for me, I am not going to the lake right now when the fish are in that winter pattern, they're pre-spawn mode, seeking out a jig bite. I just don't like to fish that way this time of year. So the jig for me is more of a cleanup hitter. It's my closer when I need one bite. I know I can lock it in my hands for a couple hours. No matter what my pattern is, if I have one or not, I can catch a bass on a jig. Now, I like the ball head because I can fish it a lot of different ways. This is like a shaky head and a jig all in one for me. I'm getting the best of both worlds because I can drag it. If I need to go fish it on bluff walls out deep, or I need to go skip it underneath the dock, I feel like I can get a bite with this bait. Now, your other finesse jigs are going to come in that Arky style head. Maybe they'll be like a booza bug style where it's more of like a bullet head. And those baits are great, but I just feel like I get a little more purpose with this bait. Again, I'm not seeking out a jig bite when the water is cold and those fish are in the pre-spawn mode. You know, I feel like this time of year, the fish are feeding through their lateral line. So if I can get up there and crank with a square bill, throw a chatterbait, fish a spinner bait, those are the baits that I'm trying to catch fish on. Now, that doesn't always happen the way you want. So most of the time, I do have to break this bait out to get a bite or two. But rarely am I catching all my fish on this. Plus, a lot of the times this part of the year, you're going to only have a couple good feeding windows during the day. So it might be 1 hour first thing in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, and I want to be catching fish on a bait that I can fish fast, cover some water, and just load the boat quick. I don't want to be slowing down and really not putting my bait in front of a bunch of fish. So that is a finesse jig for me. Now, I keep it very simple. My colors, black, black, and blue. Green pumpkin, you know, something with a little orange, a little blue in it to mimic the crawdads and the bluegills. And I don't need to stray too far from that because, again, I'm not trying to dial this in too much. This is a bait that I have confidence with, I have patience with, and no matter what the color is, I'm going to get a bite or two because I'm going to have it in my hand that long. So Super Chunk Junior, very basic trailer, and I'm just going to thread it on because I want this bait to catch as many fish as I possibly can on it, which this time of year, it's not many, but I want to get as many bites as I can. So smaller profile for me always with the finesse jig, but that's the deal right there. Now, this is one of those baits where that water warms up, you're going to put it back in your box and probably not break it out until fall time. So what happens when you put jigs in a box and don't fish with them for 8 months? They're going to get wet. It's going to get hot in the summertime. Those rubber bands, the skirt material is going to stick together. It's going to melt, and your jigs are going to be ruined. You didn't use them that much, only a month or two, and then you put them away, and when you get them back out in the fall or the winter, they're ruined. So my solution to that problem is a little bit of cornstarch. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. Sprinkle it in your box, and that will be all you need. And that's just going to keep those skirt material, those rubber bands from dry rotting, sticking together, melting. So when you bust your jigs back out in the fall or the winter, they're going to be ready to go. So that's my finesse jig setup. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the water.